Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson on fundamental concepts of geometry. What is geometry? Geometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with points, lines, curves, surfaces, and their measurements, relationships, and properties. Everything in this world is a geometrical object. Your pen, table, chairs, trees, everything present is a geometrical object. The first geometrical object that we'll talk about is a point. Now we can name this point as A or any other name we can give. Now point does not have a length or breadth, it only has a position. So if you place another point here and we can name it as point B. If we place point C here, so C has been positioned here. So you can only position a point, it does not have a length or a breadth. Next, if we try to plot these points together consecutively, you will find they will extend on both the directions. So we represent by putting arrows on both the sides, and these collection of points together is called a line. So we can highlight any of the points in these collection of points. Let's say point A and a point B. So in order to name this line, we can use the points A, B. So we can call it a line AB, or symbolically we can represent it as AB and a small line on top, which means we are talking about line AB. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it is going in that direction, to the left or to the right. It can move in any directions. So if we have a diagonal line with pointing arrows on both the sides, it means it is a line. If we have a shape in this fashion, that is also a line. So it can go in any direction. Next, so if we take a starting point and let these points move in one direction, so this will be called a ray. Now in order to give a name to this ray, we can plot the starting point and a point somewhere in the ray as Q. So this can be called as ray PQ, or symbolically we can say PQ and a small ray symbol on top, which means we are talking about ray PQ. So this is a ray. Now again you can have a ray going in any direction. So a ray can go downwards, pointing upwards, diagonal, any direction. Next, now if I choose a starting point and then I stop the collection of points at some time, okay, so we have a starting point and an end point. We can call this as the starting point and this as the end point. So this shape is called a line segment. Line segment, where you have a starting point and an end point. So we can name this as X, Y. So we can say line segment XY, or we can say X, Y and a small line segment on top, which means we are talking about line segment XY. Now here line segment also can go in any direction. So if you have a line segment moving diagonally, it is also called a line segment. So once you see two end points, you will understand that it is a line segment. And when you see that there is only one starting point and an arrow on the other side, it is called a ray. And then when you have arrows on both the sides, it is called a line. Next geometrical object is the plane. So what is a plane? A plane is basically a flat surface, like this whiteboard. It has a flat surface, okay? Walls, the floor. So anything that has a flat surface is called a plane. Now this plane has infinite length and infinite breadth. So it is wide. So you can say a plane is a flat surface, okay, in which we draw the points, lines, curves, okay, in a two-dimensional figure. Next, space. Now space is a geometrical object which includes all the other geometrical objects like points, lines, surfaces, the solids. So all the geometrical objects are included in this geometrical object that is called space. So take example, this marker, it is occupying a space, okay? So it is a part of this space. So this geometrical object is included in the geometrical object space. Now space has infinite length, infinite breadth and infinite height. Now let's talk about a closed figure. 7. Closed figure. Now you have learned about various figures in your previous classes. So you remember what is a closed figure, right? Any figure that is closed from all the sides. So if you take this shape, this is also a closed figure. If you take this shape, this is also a closed figure, okay? Then this shape is also a closed figure, and the opposite of it is an open figure. So open figure. What will an open figure be? Which is not closed. In simple words, we can say it does not end at its starting point. So here in a closed figure, we started here and then we ended at the same point. So starting point is the ending point. But in an open figure, the starting point will not be the end figure. So if I stop this here, so it is still open, okay? So it is an open figure. Similarly, this shape is also an open figure, still open. This is also an open figure, okay? So if you leave any part open in that figure, it is called an open figure. Let's take one more example. Okay, this is not a triangle, this is an open figure, okay? Now let's talk about a simple closed figure. Simple closed figure. So what is this simple closed figure? Now by closed figure you can understand that it is closed from all the sides. Now what do you mean by simple closed figure? It means that a figure which does not have any intersecting lines. So this shape can be called a simple closed figure. This shape is also a simple closed figure. Let's take another example. So this figure will also be a simple closed figure. It does not have any intersecting lines. Now let's look at the figures which cannot be a simple closed figure. So if I take this figure, now you see here you have an intersecting line. So whenever the line intersects, that kind of figure is not called a simple closed figure. So let's take more example. Let's say, okay, so this is also not a simple closed figure because you have the lines intersecting each other. Then this figure also cannot be called a simple closed figure. So these are not the simple closed figure, these are the simple closed figures, okay, in which the lines does not intersect itself. Now let's understand the interior and exterior of a closed figure. So let's take an example of a square shape and understand the interior of the square and exterior. So if I plot any point inside this square shape, let's say A, B, and some points here C, D, and some points here E and F. So here we can clearly see that the points A and B are inside the square. So we can say A and B points A and B are in the interior of the closed figure, right? Which two points? A and B. And we can see that C and D are outside the closed figure. So points C and D are in the exterior of the closed figure. Now what about the points E and F? We can call E and F as points being on the figure. So we can say points E and F are on the closed figure. They are neither in the interior nor in the exterior, okay? Let's learn about another geometrical object, that is curve. Now you can understand what a curve is. So this shape is a curve, this shape is a curve, okay? So this shape is a curve. So it is not a straight line, it is a bent line, so you can call it a curve. Now let's understand a curvilinear boundary. So you understand what curve is, right? So if I make a figure out of curved lines, it will have a curvilinear boundary. So let's take this shape, okay? So this figure has a curvilinear boundary. Let's take another shape. This shape also has a curvilinear boundary. Let's take another shape, and this shape also has a curvilinear boundary. Next, linear boundary. Now you very well get the idea of what linear boundary will be, right? It is the opposite of curvilinear boundary. So here the figure were bounded by curved lines. So in this, a figure bounded by line segments will have a linear boundary. So let's take this shape. So you see this shape is bounded by line segments. So this is one line segment from here to here. This is one line segment. This is one line segment. This is one line segment. So it is bounded by line segments. So this kind of figure has a linear boundary. So this boundary is linear. Let's take another shape. This shape also has a linear boundary. Let's take another shape. This shape also has a linear boundary. It is made up of line segments. Okay. Next, intersecting lines. Now what are intersecting lines? Now you know what line is, right? So here two lines that have a common point are said to be intersecting lines. So let's understand this with the help of a figure. So if this is a line and here we have another line. So at this point, the points of both, let's name the line. So this line, let's call it L, and this line, let's call it M. So the points of line L and M meet here, right? So they have a common point here. Let's call this point as A. So whenever you have two lines with a common point, it means these two lines are intersecting each other. Okay, so you can clearly see that line L and M are intersecting at point A. Next, let's understand parallel lines. Now parallel lines are just the opposite of intersecting lines. Here two lines that do not have a common point. So here two lines that do not have a common point will be called parallel lines. Let's draw a line P here and a line Q. So here you can see P and Q, they are not sharing any common point. Means they will never meet each other. No matter where you extend it to that side or this side, they will never meet at any point. So these two lines are said to be parallel lines. Now it is not only in the case of two lines, it can be many lines. Okay, so here if there is another line that is intersecting through A, it will be called intersecting lines. If you have another parallel line here, they will be also termed as parallel lines. Now let's understand some of the properties of lines. Now in a plane, two lines can either be parallel or intersecting. It has to be either of the two. So for instance, let's draw this line here and let's draw this line here. Now what can these two lines be called? Parallel? No. Why? Because if you extend this line further, because line means it will go on, right? If you extend this line, it will go on this side, and if you extend this line, it will go on this side. Means they will be meeting at some point or the other. So whenever you have such a point where two lines will meet, these two lines will be called intersecting lines. So although these lines are not drawn and joined to a point, but you can see that if you extend it further, it will meet at a point A. So these two lines will be called intersecting lines. So if you draw two lines like this, and if you keep on extending it, they will not meet at any point, right? It means they are parallel lines. You may be wondering, if I draw this line in this fashion, let's open it to the other side, so they are not meeting that side. But what about the back side? If you extend this line further and you extend this line further here, they'll meet at some point, right? So again, these two lines will be called intersecting lines. So in a plane, if two lines are drawn, they will either be parallel or intersecting. Next, there can be infinite number of lines that can be drawn from a given point. Let's take this point O. Now from this point we can draw infinite number of lines. So let's say this is line L, then we can draw another line M, we can draw another line here, we can draw another line here. Okay, so you see then we can draw infinite or unlimited number of lines from a given point. Now what if we take a ray from a point? So it goes the same for the ray. So if we take a point P, and in a ray we have a starting point, right? So let's make P the starting point and let the ray go on one side or one direction. So for rays also we can have infinite number of rays that can be drawn from a given point. So this direction we can draw, this direction we can draw. Clear? Next property. Let's take a point A and another point B. So if you try to cross a line or pass a line through these 2 points, you will find that there will be only one line that will happen to pass through these 2 points. There cannot be any other line that can pass through these 2 lines. So here let's name this line as L. So L is the only line that can pass through 2 given points. You cannot draw any other line on that. So if you draw any other line, they will pass through a given point but cannot pass through the other point as well. So here you draw a line, another line. No matter how many lines you draw from that point, you will not be able to cross that point through the other point. So only one line can successfully cross through 2 given points, and so goes for the ray. So if you have a point P and a point Q, so any of the points you can choose as the starting point. So if I choose P as the starting point, so this ray will go through Q, and if you choose Q as the starting point, then it will go through P to this direction. So only one ray can be drawn passing through 2 points in one direction. Okay, so if you start from P, if you choose P as the starting point, then there will be only one ray that will be crossing through point Q. If you choose a starting point Q, there will be only one ray that can cross through point P. Next, let's understand concurrent and non-concurrent lines. Now what do we mean by concurrent lines? If I take a point here, and if we see that line L, then let's take another point, another line M, and another line N. So when 3 lines intersect at a point, these 3 lines are said to be concurrent lines. So 3 lines are said to be concurrent if they intersect at a common point. Let's name this point A. So what if you have another line? Yes, that will also be concurrent. So you'll have 4 concurrent lines, and so on. Now let's understand non-concurrent lines. When we have 3 lines that do not intersect at one point, let's take this point as B. So here we have line P, line Q, and another line R. So here you see that point line R is not intersecting through the common point B. So only P and Q have a common point B, but R is not intersecting through that point. So it means the lines PQR are non-concurrent. Next, collinear points. Now what are collinear points? 3 points are said to be collinear if they lie in the same line or in the same line segment. Let's take a line L and take the points A, B and C. So here you can see that point A, B and C are lying in the same line. So here A, B and C are collinear points. So points A, B and C are collinear points. Clear? Next, non-collinear points. Now you get the idea what non-collinear points will be. Means let's take a point P and Q and another point R, but not on that line. So here points P, Q and R are non-collinear. Okay? P, Q and R are non-collinear. Now so goes for the line segment as well. So if you have a line segment, okay, and in that if you had the points A, B, C on the same line segment, then points A, B, C will also be called collinear points. Okay, and you know that if you have 2 points and 1 point outside, these 3 points will not be called collinear. Next, measurement and construction of line segments. How do we measure a line segment? We use the basic unit of length in the International System of Units, that is meter. Now you know that 1 meter, in the short form we can write it as M, can be divided into 100 smaller parts, that is 100 centimeter, right? So each of these parts is called centimeter, or in short we can write cm. Now each centimeter is further divided into 10 millimeters. So 1 centimeter can be written as 10 millimeter or mm for millimeter. So each centimeter has been divided further into 10 parts called 10 millimeter. Till the late 1960s, the measurement for length was foot, short form FT, where 1 foot was equal to 12 inches. But now we are using the International System of Units, right? Now to help us with the measurement of line segments, we have a straight-edged ruler. Now rulers are available in 15 centimeter length and 30 centimeter length. Now if you carefully look at the ruler, you will see some marks on the ruler and with numbers 0, 1, 2, 3 till 15. So this is the 15 centimeter ruler. Now these marks are called graduations or calibrations. So this ruler can be called a graduated ruler or a calibrated ruler. Now between 0 and 1 centimeter you can see small partitions. This is the millimeter. So each centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter, right? So that's why you have 10 small partitions in between each centimeter. Now let's understand how using the ruler we'll measure a line segment. Now let's find the measurement of this line segment AB. So I'll be using this 30 centimeter ruler because it is a bigger line segment. So we'll start at the starting point, that is A. Now where you have to place this, you have to place the point where it is written 0 or the first marking on the starting point. So we'll place this here on A and we'll see where the end point lies. So here you can see this end point B is lying at 15. So it means the length of this line segment AB is 15 centimeter. Clear? Now we can even construct a line segment using the ruler. Draw a line segment of length 10 centimeter. So we can use the ruler to draw the length 10 centimeter. Let's place the ruler on your paper. So for me it is a board. Then at the starting point, which is the 0 point, you can place your pencil, and then from there you can straight away draw the line till 10 centimeter. This will be 10 centimeter. You can name the line segments A, B, or any name you want to give. Let's take another question related to line segments. How many line segments can be drawn using any 2 points as the end points? Also draw the line segments. So here in the first question you have 3 points. Now they are asking how many line segments can be drawn using these points. You have to write the number of lines segments that can be drawn and also draw the line segment. So we also have to draw the line segments. So what we can do first, we can draw the line segments to find out how many line segments can be drawn using 2 endpoints. So if you join a point from A to C, this will be 1 line segment. If you join a point from A to B, we have another line segment, and then we can join C to B. So how many line segments can be formed using the 3 points? 3 line segments. So you can say 3 line segments. Can be drawn using points A, B and C. Now I'll just extend the question. Write down the names of the line segments as well. So here what will be the names of the line segment? So first line segment will be AC, then AB. We can put a small line segment on top to indicate it is a line segment. Okay, or you can write line segment AC, line segment BC. It's better you use the symbol. Then we have BC and line segment BC. Clear? Now let's find out the number of line segments using these 4 points as the endpoints. So first from P to S, 1 line segment, P to Q, another line segment, P to R, another line segment, Let's draw from S to Q, then S to R. Any more? Yes, Q to R. So let's count the number of line segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So using the 4 points, you can draw 6 line segments. So you can write 6 line segments can be drawn using points P, Q, R and S. Let's name the line segments. So here we have line segment PQ, then PS, PR, then QS, QR. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is one more line segment, that is SR. Okay. So RS we can say. Clear? Let's take another question. If A, B and C are 3 collinear points, name all the line segments they determine. So here 3 points A, B and C are collinear. Now they are asking name all the line segments they determine. Means how many line segments do they form. So if I look from here A to B, we have one line segment. Then from B to C, another line segment, and A to C, another line segment. So how many line segments? 3 line segments. So they have asked us to name all the line segments. Now we know how many line segments will be formed? 3 line segments, right? But they have not asked the number of line segments. So we have to name all the line segments. So here we have line segment AB, then line segment BC and line segment AC. So these 3 line segments will be formed, right? So I hope the fundamental concepts of geometry is clear to you. Thank you.